Good morning, everyone. Did you guys have a good weekend? All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. Euban isn't here. Alan isn't here. And Eleanor is not here. All right. Okay, so how's everyone doing? That's good. All right. So, oh man, my hair is off today. All right. So, giving you guys a heads up, you guys probably saw that I am completely caught up with all of your grade book assignments, which you guys should be happy about. I was shocked that I had 36 assignments for you guys. Wow, that was crazy. So I don't know. I mean, only other class that I can think of that might have more is I heard Miss Zelinsky gives a lot of assignments. And is that true, Lance? I heard that she could give a lot of assignments and maybe math. But other than that, like I was talking to some history colleagues, they're like, yeah, I only have like 8, 9. I was like, okay. All right. So we're going to get down to the nitty gritty. All right. What I need everybody to do is I need everybody to open up your Eclipse right off the bat. Where's my window appearance? Perspective, recent perspective. It's fine. Good. All right. Here we go. All right, so let me. All right, so today, what we're going to be covering today is we're going to be covering public versus private, okay? But we're not going to be covering public versus private in a way, we're not going to be covering it completely. Because when we talk about public and private, for the most part, we're not really going to go into methods with public and private. A lot of programmers really don't care, okay, when it comes to that. But when it comes to the creation of a class, it does mean a lot when it comes to variables, okay? So file, let me create a new, so you can use your same project, same class if you want to. Okay, let me create a new class real quick. And the tester, there we go. All right, so created my super class, I've created my tester class, I've got everything ready to go. All right, so let's talk now about public versus private. All right, so public versus private, okay? So right now I've got my tester right there, perfect. Okay, and I don't need this for right now. All right, so basically, okay, by the way, you're gonna hear the terminology. Anytime that I'm referring to the class that has your methods and stuff like that, I will be referring to that as the super class. That is what it's called, okay? It's called the super class, all right? This just is basically called the tester class. The tester class will have the main method, okay? Now, let's talk about our variables. So in our superclass, I'm going to make string name int age. Okay, string name and int age. All right, and I want you guys to go ahead and make a constructor for that really quickly. Do not make a default constructor. Again, unless I ask you to, don't make a default constructor. Also make a toString method, okay? All right. So, okay, I have my constructor here and I have my toString method here. Notice that I just put name, age. So if I make an object, I'm going to say superclass A equals new superclass. And I'm going to say John and 25. Okay, let's say I did both of these. All right. Okay, boom. So superclass A equals new superclass. All right. And if I were to print out A, I run this. Name John, age 25. Perfect. Everything works as intended. John is being passed here to the name, and age is being passed here to the superclass right here. Okay. So far everything is good. That's exactly how we want it. All right. Now, in regards to that, however, okay, we have some changes that we need to make, and here's why. Okay, right now, if I use the dot operator, I'm going to see a dot, and I see age, name, string. Okay, age, name, and string. So technically, I could say a dot name equals Harold. Okay. So now if I sys out A, I've changed the name to Harold. Now let's talk about this real quickly. All right. Let's say you go into a bank account and I have all my variables the way that I have this right now. So by default, giving you guys everybody a heads up, by default, every variable is public. So you can imagine that public is right here. Okay. So we have string name and age. So let's say we go into bank account. We have bank account name, double balance. What's the downside? What's the downside if I were a bank and I had my variables like this?
They could easily be changed.
Easily, I could make the balance whatever I wanted it to be, right? Okay, because there's no form of protection. All right. Now, we don't want that. Okay. And in this case, what we do is we use the keyword private. Private, I'm going to add private to my variable here, and I'm going to add private here. You'll notice that I haven't hit saved yet, but the minute that I hit save, your superclass is going to be fine. You're going to notice that the tester class is going to have an error. The reason why is because what I have just done is I have protected my variables. Okay, so if I go a dot, you will see there is no more. Our toString method is there. You can see the toString method is there, but you will see that there is no more access to name and there is no more access to age. Okay, this doesn't mean that they are inaccessible. Okay. Now, as you can see here, private and age, you'll notice that in the superclass, there's no issues. If the variables are in the same class as the methods, notice that we're accessing the method or the variables here. As long as they're in the same class, you're fine. So put it this way, even though name and age are private in this class and we use them here, okay, you're fine. You don't have to worry about it. It treats them as public. Okay, it's only when you try to access them from a different class that you fall on some errors. Okay, and that's a no-no. And that's where we get into what we call accessors and mutators. accessors and mutators, or as they're more commonly called, getters and setters. Now, getters and setters are very, very useful, okay? So giving you a heads up also, just so everybody can hear this, give me a thumbs up if you can hear me because you're being recorded right now. Can you guys all hear me? Okay, now, oops, hold on one second. Give me 1 second, hold on 1 second. Oops. Dylan Ochoa, hold on 1 second. Okay, Noah or Dylan, just a heads up. Oh, 1 second. All right, so setters and getters. All right, let's talk about setters and getters. Now, setters and getters, what they are basically their ways of accessing variables from a tester class. What we're first going to be talking about is getters. Getters are another way. They're basically, you are going to need to have to access the name and the age, okay? But in programming, if you're going to get the variable, we need to make a method that says, don't worry about it. I'll get it for you. Don't worry about the name. I'll get the name for you. Don't worry about the age. I'll get the age for you. Okay. And getters are actually very, very easy. Okay. And again, these are called our accessor methods or getters. So the way we do this, and generally you always have one for each variable. Okay. You generally have one for each global variable. So public, okay. So we have string, get name, just like that. Getters do not have parameters. Public string get name, turn name. Okay. Am I allowed to say this dot name? Yes. For some people, it's just to make them a little bit more organized. Okay. So for example, if I wanted to print out the name, now, I could say a dot get name. Okay. And if I run this, jump. Okay. Again, you can't say a dot name anymore. It won't allow you to. But what you can do is you can call on the get name method and it'll say, you know what? Okay, I exist. What I will do is I will go and I will get the name for you. That being said, I need one for age. Who can give me the signature? Henry, give me the signature for age.
I don't know. Is it just
look at the getter for name, and it's almost identical, obviously with some name changes. But what do you think the signature would be for age?
public int get age?
Bingo. That's exactly right. Now,
Okay.
Now, Henry, do I need parameters? Yes or no? Can't hear.
Sorry, I don't think so.
Nope. So rule of thumb, in general, you generally don't need generally you don't need in general, you don't need parameters for getters. So then I would just say return age. Okay. Now you will be required. I've seen this often. You will be required in some cases to write getters or setters. I haven't seen it in a couple of years, which kind of leads me, it kind of leads me to believe that they're probably going to do it again. So, all right. Now, the other thing is setters. And the reason why I use both terms, like if you're ever really programming, those of you who've programmed before, you've heard the term setters and getters. Because it's the AP, they will call it mutator. Okay. Now, let's see. Gary. Okay. Let's say I go into a bank and I make whatever, I change stuff or whatever. Would there ever be a reason for me to change my variables?
Like in the real world scenario.
Yeah, in a real world scenario, yeah.
Like,
Let's say I go into a bank, okay, and I create my bank account, okay, and on my balance and stuff like that. Do you see an instance where, oh my God, I would have to change the name? Would I need just a getter, or would I need a setter for the name?
you need to set it then.
Huh?
Well, you don't. Well, maybe if you give the account to someone else, if you can even do that.
No, well, an account that would basically add them onto the object. That'd be kind of a little bit more advanced. But think of it this way: when some people get married, do they add hyphens to their name and add the last name?
Oh, sometimes I think.
Yes, they do.
Sometimes, yeah.
All right. So yes, they do. And so basically, what happens is basically we need to have the ability to change it. The only problem is because they're private, we need to use a method that says, hey, you know what? You send me the information that you want to change it to, and I will do it for you. Okay. So in this instance, I would say for string, public string set name. Now, the other thing I need you to realize is this: get name and set name, they're not real programming terms. Let me repeat that. They're not real programming terms. Okay. What they are is they're basically accepted name. For example, like you guys remember camel case, right? Is camel case an actual programming rule, or is it an accepted norm? Alex, what is it?
It's an accepted norm.
It's an accepted norm. So get name and set name are what we would call accepted norms. But Alex, going back to you, we have public string set name. Do I need parameters?
No.
We do need parameters. Here's why, Alex. Now, in the get name and get age, all you're asking for is what is the age? Set, mutate, a mutator method. Alex, what does mutate mean?
Well, it changes.
Exactly. So I'm going to need something that I'm going to change it to, correct?
Yeah.
So in this case, string X. Because the purpose of a mutator method is to override or change the value of the global variable without accessing it directly. So now what I say is this dot name equals X. Return. Now again, if you want to do string name just to keep everything, simple, you can do that. Okay. Public string, set name, string name, this dot name equals name, return name. Okay. All right. This works fine. You're completely allowed to do this. All right. So go ahead. And what I want you to do right now is I want you to do one for the int or for the age. Uma. Now I'm really, guys, stop. If you have not emailed your teacher, wait until 9:30 to do it. Do not do it in my class. Uma, at 9:01, this just tells me you were not paying attention.
That was a scheduled email.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
So go ahead and do the getter for, okay. All right. So what I would do is I would say public int set age. Okay. And then what I would do is I would then say, so public int set name, public int set age. So then I would say int age, this dot age equals age, return age. Okay. Now, a lot of times, once you have setters and getters, do you see how I have name up here? Do you guys see that, how I have name up here? Okay. A lot of times, now the good thing is about strings is you can, what they would do is normally what you would do is you would do something like this: name plus get name and age plus get age. Okay. Notice that they do the same thing. Okay. So if I were to print out A here, it prints out the same thing. You want to start getting in. Now, there are some methods, okay? There are some methods where you will just go ahead and access the variables straight off. But there are going to be some methods, and there will be some AP questions where they specifically tell you, okay, access the object. So access the object, but access it using the getters and setters. Assume that getters and setters have already been created. Okay. So right now, give me 1 second. Okay, I'm trying to take a look real quick and see something. What the heck? Where is it? Okay, here's my book. Sorry, I couldn't find my book for some reason. I'm trying to get you guys the homework. Okay, so for tonight, what I want you guys doing. Okay, no, I know what I want you guys doing. Hold on, bear with me 1 second. I know exactly what I want you guys to do. Okay. I know exactly what I want. Oh, you're not there yet. I don't think you're there yet. Ah. You're not there yet. Darn it. Okay. All right. So let's right now do a practice. So I wanted to give you guys an AP problem, but we're not there yet. We still need a little bit more practice. I think within 2 weeks we'll be there. Okay. I think within 2 weeks we'll be there, but right now we're not there yet. I was ready to give it to you guys. I think some of you would understand it, but I don't think everyone is there yet. Ah, darn it. I really wanted that one. Yes. What's up, Uma?
Out of curiosity, will we be allowed to use scratch paper and stuff?
You should be using scratch paper on your tests.
Yeah, because I use them on your quizzes. That's why I wanted to know if it was allowed on.
100%. Now, also moving forward, guys, one of the things that you're going to be doing while you're taking your test is you're going to be sharing your screen. So I've allowed everybody to share their screen. You will only see your screen. But what it does is while you're taking the test, it allows me, without you knowing, to go through and check on your exams. Some of the international students, I have no problem saying this, some of their scores are turning out to be a little bit better than I anticipated. So I'm going to be having them do that while they take their exams with me. So, all right. So what I want you to do right now is this, okay? So what I want you to do is I want you to create, okay? I want you to create in the superclass a method that accepts a string and returns a string array.
Oh, you're not screen sharing.
Sorry about that. What I want you to do is I want you to create in the superclass a method that accepts a string and returns a string array. each letter of the string is stored in the array, and then store the appropriate, or store the returned array in the tester class. And this is the way that you would, so I know it sounds weird. This is the way they would say it on the AP. Hey Siri, set timer for 4 minutes.
Your timer is set for 4 minutes.
So Dylan, when I say store the returned array in the tester class appropriately, what do you think they're trying to say?
Create a string array variable in the tester
That is of the same,
that's equal to the value, like
yeah, bingo,
assumption.
bingo. Okay, go for that. What's the date today?
27.
7. Oh,
Okay, you have 1 minute, 20 seconds. Let's go, Alex. Ten seconds. All right, so what we would do is this. Am I sharing my screen? Yes, okay, perfect. So what would happen is this. The first thing I want to do, okay, is I'm accepting a string But as you can see, keyword, this is how you know. Every AP question will have this, guys. Look for the R word. What is it returning? What is it returning? Public. Here's what I wanted to see if you guys could figure it out. String array. I'll call this letter splicer. String name, okay? Right? So basically the only reason, now take a look. When I do this, it is now expecting you to return an array. So the first thing I'm going to do is I have to create my array. So I'm going to say string x equals new string. And I'm just going to use the local variable name.length. Okay. How many of you guys got that so far? Okay. So you can use name. It's going to store it until you unload it. Okay. So you can continue using it. So now what I have to do is, now giving you guys a heads up, this is a type of question that would be on the AP. Restoring it in the tester class would not be. That would not count. This is me just kind of throwing some extra, fan on the flames or whatever. This right here, they would give you this. Knowing that you had to make an array would be 1 point. The length, knowing what the length would be considered half a point. So you would get 1.5 points just for this line. Okay. Then for int j equals 0, j is less than name.length. What else could I use? I could use name.length, or I could use what?
X.length.
Bingo. Okay. Name.length or j. Okay. And then I could do j++. Okay. So now what I can do is I can say x index j equals name.substring j to j+1. Bingo. All right. So are there any errors here yet? Oops, there is one. There we go. Now it's better. There we go. Okay. Now, okay. I made the array. I made it the size length. I've cycled through. You would get a point. This is one of these all or nothing things, guys. You would get what they would call half a point for the attempt that you knew that it was a for loop. You would get the other half of the attempt if you correctly access. This is, how stupid is this? This is the weird thing. You would get the full point if you were able to access every element in the array. Let's say I accidentally messed this up. You wouldn't get half a point. You would get the point because your for loop was correct and you access every element in the array. But you would lose the point if you didn't store properly. Now, most of the time, giving you guys the return statement is only worth usually half a point. Unless there's something that is absolutely crucial that needs to be returned. Okay, so now what do I do? Return what? X. What is X?
Array.
And a string array. So over here, what would I do?
Create a string.
String array B equals A dot letter splicer Steve. Okay. Basically what now if I wanted to now print out, the array, guess what? I'm not going to go through, but if I print it out, I guess, let's just say, for example, I just said B index A, just for right now. Okay. Whoops. B index 0, sorry. If I want to just do that, it's S. Okay. So this is good practice to have. I'm going to have your homework assignment ready to go in about 5 to 10 minutes. Okay. So I was giving you guys a heads up. I'm gonna try to give you guys something that's a little bit inclusive of everything. Okay. So I may actually just write out what your homework assignment is. Okay. And it's not gonna be a massively big one. I can tell you right now, I'm not gonna focus on the tester class. Okay. I'm just gonna have you guys focus on the super class. Okay. All right. So good class today, guys. Again, setters and getters, big things to know, huge things to know. Okay. So tomorrow, more than likely, we're probably going to be doing just practice problems in class to get used to writing this. Okay. All right. Any last questions?
Wait, are we missing class on the 29th or the 28th?
The 29th. I think it's 29th, block C. Let me make sure. 29th. Yeah, 29th at 1:15. Yeah, block C. Okay. All right. Okay, so I will see you guys later. Okay.